Hopefully everybody is doing well today. Hello, Judy. Again, thank you, Bart, for sharing out this live for the to the community. Just let me know, Judy, if you can hear me. Okay. I always like to do a little sound check in the beginning, see how things are going. Hello, Ralph. How you doing, friend? And Ralph, I do get your email, so understood as far as that goes. Ralph from earlier on your email, all good on that. So I hope everybody is doing well there. Hello, Renee. How you doing, Renee? Thanks for popping in. Obviously, I'll give a little bit of time here as just people popping in and people are, greeting each other. All good. As I see, we got my little humongous tuxedo up on the slide here. I think he went to KFC. Yeah, Judy, I think the public seems to like the little humongous tuxedo, so I think I'll keep him around or keep her around. I'm not sure. He, she, keep him around for a little bit longer. But obviously, thank you for popping in. This is the second little Sunday cat showcase. Again, hello, Burrito the cat. Thanks for popping in, friend. I don't really consider myself necessarily an expert on cats. I have lived with cats though for a long time. I have worked in animal hospitals, so I think I have a lot of knowledge to share. But I think cat and expert are, doesn't really work because things constantly change. In my opinion, at least. Okay, Renee. So it's a mill. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. And also, let me get into this live on YouTube myself, so I can post something up there as a pinned comment too. And hopefully, we will have some new cat channels on here. That's kind of the goal. I haven't really done too much promoting of this, but hopefully we might have a new cat channel or two on here because it's kind of part of the goal with this whole thing is to develop a cat community where people can go to each other, ask questions, give advice, and just always do what's best for their felines. That's kind of the main goal as far as all this goes. Let me get into my channel here. Just give me a second. Let me post this real quickly. Let me turn that down so I'm not echoing. What I'm doing though, I'm just going to be putting in my email. If I can remember my email, my Yahoo email or my Gmail. There we go. And I'm going to pin that to the top. All right. So that is pinned. Okay, so that's good. So pretty much, if you have any questions, if you need any advice, if you have any ideas on this particular showcase, then always feel free to email me on that, and I am more than willing to, if you have questions, if you think, hey, maybe we should try this, then just give me an email anytime, and we can definitely talk about it. And also, if anybody ever wants to come on here, just let me know, and I can drop a link also when that time comes. Because again, I'm just one person, and I would like to build a community of fellow cat lovers who can share, can give advice, and can do all that other stuff. Question here. Let's pop this up on the screen here, Judy. So, Adam, remember when I told you about my dog's cough that 3 different vets couldn't figure out? Maybe, Judy. Sometimes my memory is a little bad, but I might have remembered that. Maybe. Hello, NPP. Thanks for popping in, NPP. So, Judy, what was the? Has there been a diagnosis now, or what happened? Was it a reverse sneeze? Just curious. Obviously, you'll let me know in the chat. think I say hello to everybody so far that's in this live. There's a few topics that I'm going to go over here in a little bit. And there was a couple of questions that Judy submitted earlier in the week that we'll go over also. So she used to have seizures, and when the cough started 3 years ago, she quit the seizures. Okay, okay. Is she on like a anti seizure medicine then, Judy? So she had them since she was 2. Okay. Hello to the other people. I see a couple other people popped in. If you did pop in, thank you. And hello, hello. I'm going to give a couple more moments here, maybe about another minute or so, and then we'll kind of start. We'll start this show. Let's see what Judy is saying. No, she was never put on medication. She didn't have them enough often. She didn't often enough, probably a couple times. Okay. Okay. Renee, you need a little advice for Leo? Okay. Renee, just give me a moment on that. Just give me a moment. I just want to talk about a few like cool cat facts, and then we'll get to that. Okay. So just bear with me for a minute or so, and then we can definitely get on to that. Or if you want to email me also, kind of let me know on that. Or let's see. So I'm having issues with him turning his nose up at all kinds of wet food. Okay, we can get to that in a moment, Renee. Because that's part of what we're talking to talk about. That's one of the topics today is diet or nutrition. Let's see what Judy is saying. I had forgotten about her seizures until I watched the new channel Renee posted about. Yep. And the kitty had seizures. That's what made me think about my dog because it'd been 3 years now. Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you for sharing, Judy. All right, I'm going to stop this music now because it is a bit distracting to me. It's just a little opening music, so I'm going to stop that. Okay, so obviously we have the humongous kitty. Now, I will say on occasion, I don't know about y'all, but our cats do on occasion. They definitely will steal our food from time to time. Let me see here. So there's another posted question. Hello, Paul World, Paul World's Primer. Thank you for coming in. Let me give you a wrench, Paul World. Um, so with this wrench, you can then check out these other cat channels. So the cat we rescued from Iraq and brought here last month does not want to eat any wet food neither. Okay. All right. We can definitely talk about wet food here. Just give me a second, but we can definitely get to that. So let me go on to the next slide just real quickly. I'm going to pop this off for a second, Power Word. I do appreciate you coming in. So just a couple like little neat facts or like little just kind of like did you know type of things that I just found kind of interesting is one, as you know, some of these things I know, some of these things I don't know. But the cats can jump 5 times their own height. So I think that's pretty neat. I mean, could you imagine if you're like 5, 6 feet tall or so and you could jump like, you know, 30 feet in the air? I think that'd be kind of neat. But those kitties, they can jump 5 times their own height, which is pretty darn high. The second one on here, that cats have a dominant front paw. I did not know that at all. So that's something new to me. From what I was reading, apparently males, they're left dominant, and I could get this mixed up, and females is right dominant. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that. Kind of cool. Second one, or the third one, I should say, that apparently there was a mayor cat in Alaska town for over 20 years. Kind of neat. Hello, cool gamer. Thanks for popping in, friend. Hope you're doing well today. But apparently, this cat run uncontested as a mayor, probably a very small town in Alaska for 20 years. So just imagine you lived in a town and your mayor was a kitty cat. Kind of neat, kind of scary, but kind of interesting though. Also, and then lastly, just that house cats, and this one, last one I knew, the house cats, they share up to 95% of their DNA with tigers. So that one I did know. Yeah, definitely, Raf, you can look into that old footage to verify. Perfect. Um, let's see here. Just kind of checking with chat here. Renee, I see it all the time between Lucy and Leo. Leo is left and Lucy is right. Uh, Paul World Primer. YouTube is playing with me or something. I'm actually on my main channel. Oh, Ann Hayes. Okay, okay. Hi, Ann. Yes, yes, I do remember talking to you for a little bit. But it keeps using my second channel to chat. I'm not sure about that one, Ann. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. All right. Let me take that off. Okay. Before we get into these topics, actually, let's go back to these questions, Renee and Primer or Anne. Anne, if is it okay if I call you Anne? Just let me know. Paul Worth Primer. If it's okay if I call you Anne instead, it's just easier to say Anne instead of Primer. Just let me know in the chat. And let me get back up to this. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Anne. Okay, so Renee and Anne, since you're both having issues, it sounds like with Leo and then with the kitties that you adopted in Iraq, from Iraq, Anne, um, is the kitty like for Leo, for example, Renee, is Leo not eating any wet food at all? Is he just kind of sniffing it and then just walking away? Is that what's going on? And the same with Anne. Do you have the same issue? Is the kitty that you got, are they just kind of smelling the food, the wet food, and then walking away also? Let me know in the chat if that is what's going on. Okay, so Anne is saying that Lucky's the kitty's name, okay, that Lucky just sniffs it and then goes, and that we only eat dry food. Okay, okay. And Renee also, he sniffs it, walks away, but sometimes will eat the rest of Lucy's food that she leaves behind. Renee, I'm wondering with Leo if he's just getting tired, of the wet food of the variety, and it just needs to be switched out, perhaps. Because I know with our Rosemary, our deaf kitty, she actually is starting to do that right now. She has been on a wet food for about a couple of weeks, and she's starting not to eat it. But we transitioned her to something else today, and she's starting to eat it again. So I wonder if Leo is just getting tired of that same food. The same maybe with Lucky. And sometimes what helps too is heating up the food. Let me see what Renee is saying here. But it seems when I feed him wet food, and I'm wondering how to do that without breaking the bank. Yeah. Uh, Renee, that can be tough because cat food can definitely be expensive. Um, I would Renee, maybe I would try what type of food does Leo get? Like what is the brand? Fancy Feast, Purina, Friskies, what is the brand? Raf is chiming in. Alice and Pearl Jam sometimes get tired of the same food too. Yeah. Um, and I tried cooked chicken, whiskers, etc. Tried fish. Sometimes heating up the wet food, not like where it's like super hot, but heating up because what it'll do, it'll get their nose going. Because if they can't smell their food, then usually they won't eat their food, right? Renee, what food I'm giving him is Iams. Iams is not a bad food, Renee, but maybe trying a fancy feast, for example. Maybe trying Purina, trying something that's actually, I kind of hate to say this, but kind of, Iams is expensive. So something that's a little bit cheaper, actually, I would say, because I think Iams is a little higher on like the price point. So maybe something that's a little bit cheaper. All right, and I'll keep on talking here. Hello there, L. George. Thanks for popping in, friend. I will definitely get to that question in a second. But if you try that too, then I mean, if they're eating dry food, is there a reason, Anne, on why you want them to eat wet food? Just out of curiosity. I mean, wet food is better for them in certain ways, but dry food is not terrible either. Um, Renee, he's getting chicken flavor, but he's also eating. Yeah, Renee, I would say, like I said, maybe try to get a different food, one that's a little bit cheaper. In all honesty. Um, Let me go with L. George. Getting tired of the same food for a cat. I wonder if more exercise will open the appetite. Mm, Possible, L. George, but probably not. Um, and could it be used to hunt? It's possible. That is definitely possible. And if you're worried about constipation, see, the thing is with cats, they don't need a ton of water, right? I mean, this is like what is this, a 16 ounce? Yeah, this is a 16, 17-ounce bottle of water. Cats, though, per day, they only need like literally like this much water. Let me make my screen bigger. Hold on. Yeah, they only need like this much water a day if it's a healthy cat. Obviously, if it's a diabetic cat, they're going to drink more, but really, they don't need a ton of water. And if you're worried about constipation, something good, pumpkin, 100% pure pumpkin, you can like syringe, or you can like put onto the food, and that should help with any kind of issues with constipation. Let me see. Renee, price point is not really an issue. Renee, I see where you're coming from, and I understand that you want something with high protein and no carb, but also, and I'm sure, and obviously, you know, cats can be picky, right? Cats can be finicky, and sometimes you gotta just give what the cat wants to eat in the end. It's the same with Rosemary. We would love to give her like certain types of food, but if she's not going to eat it, then you know, we got to give her what she's going to eat in the end. Um, Let me see what Anne is saying. My other cat from here did get constipation, and the vet gives some wet food. Okay, or pumpkin. Also, pumpkin can help with constipation. Um, I'm just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything in the chat. So let me just kind of take a scroll here. Um, and that is awesome. If you had a kitty that lived up to 24 years old, congratulations, and that is awesome. Our oldest is 19, so we don't have one that's 24, but 19 is awesome, or 24 years is awesome. um Let me get to Renee. Oh, they are both divas when it comes to food. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, we want certain food for them, right? Because it's what's healthier. But I mean, in the end, a cat is going to eat what a cat is going to eat, and they are definitely, they're finicky creatures from time to time. Just my suggestion, Renee, is maybe, is it possible that Leo? How long has this been going on, Renee? Let me ask that first. How long has Leo been doing this? And the same with Anne. How long has that other kitty been doing this? Has it been just a couple of weeks? Has it been longer? How long has it been going on? Yeah, L. George, you're not going to see cats drink much. Like I said, it's a small little amount. Is really all they need. That's it. Few ounces a day, not much. Um, okay, so Renee, I've tried Friskies and he loves it. The problem is he gobbles it up so fast that he'll regurgitate it back, right? Not vomit it, but regurgitate it. Eat so quickly, then it's all thrown up. Smaller portions, maybe, Renee. I would, controlled portions. I know it's a pain, obviously, but smaller portions maybe. Hello there, Bert. Hope you're doing well, friend. Thank you for popping in, of course. Let's see. Just so, and Lucky eats her dry food and always drinks right after. Well, that's good. So she is getting water then, if she's doing that. So that's good. Um, yeah, and I mean, you know, we I say we, me and my wife, we've had 13 cats altogether since we've been married. We currently have 9. And one of our kitties who passed on, Kitty was her name, and she was a calico. And Kitty never ate wet food either. Out of all the cats that we've had, she would never eat wet food. Just some cats are just not interested in wet food, I guess. Um, but I mean, as long as the cat is eating, that's the most important thing, right? Um, I mean, there is some water in dry food, but it's obviously not a ton. Uh, but as long as they're eating, that's the most important thing. Um, Let me see. What is Renee? Leo is really good about drinking water. He loves the fountains that they have, and I know they are both drinking. Have to fill them back every day. Yeah, that's why water fountains, and that's something I'm gonna talk about is water fountains also. Um, and you've had 21 cats, now 18, and Lucky is the first. Yeah, yeah, it'll happen. But like I said, as long as we're eating, I wouldn't be overly concerned about constipation unless you're seeing like the cat not poop, right? Then I would suggest pumpkin because pumpkin is good for diarrhea and pumpkin is good for constipation. About a 1 ml syringe twice a day, as far as that goes. Yeah, I wouldn't be concerned, Ann. And and also, Ann, on the top of the chat is my email. So if feel free to email me anytime, anytime. Oh, I understand. Worrying about your kitties, worrying about your babies. I completely agree. I know exactly how you are. Yep, yep. Absolutely. You're welcome, man. That's what I'm trying to build is like a community of cat advocates. Not I hate the word owner, so cat advocates. Let me see. What is Renee saying? Tiki cat. We did that a little bit. We tried Tiki cat a little bit. Our cats weren't really interested in it. That they have a pumpkin puree designed for pets. I gave it to Rascal a lot, and even Lucy eats it also. Okay, cool, cool. Yep, exactly, Bert. Yep. Let me get back to that. Cat advocates. Yeah, because you are your advocate. You are your advocate for your cats and your dogs because they can't speak, right? So you have to speak for them. And, part of this thing also is educating the public to advocate for their kitties because that's what you need to do is you need to be the best advocate for yourself. I'll give everybody a quick example. Let me show you a slide real quickly. Let me get back to where's my slides at? Let me get back to um, oops, going too fast. So most of you know all these kitties now, but this cat right here, Pandora. Pandora is losing weight, and she's been losing weight for a little while now. And we about 2 months ago we took her in. They did some blood work, and it turned out she was hyperthyroidic. So her thyroid level was like out of whack. So we were given medication, um, thyroid medication, and we started the process. About now 6 weeks ago, we took her in to get her T4 test done, and her T4 test was within normal range. But the vet wanted us to keep her on it because it might be a lifetime thing. Eventually we'll figure out if we're going to do the iodine treatment because that gets rid of the thyroid issue altogether. But because she's still losing some weight, I'm gonna go in on Tuesday. I have an appointment on Tuesday, to one, to retest her thyroid level to see where it's at. Hopefully, it's still within the good range, but also to kind of figure out, along with the vet, obviously, on what is the issue. Are we dealing maybe with kidney disease? Are we dealing with cancer? You know, are we dealing with something else? And let me pop what you're saying up here, Renee. Absolutely. Don't be afraid to get a second opinion if you don't like the answers. Absolutely. And that's part of the advocating, right? Is, if you don't agree with what the vet is saying, get a second opinion in the facility or go to another place, like altogether, because maybe the vets there, they haven't had any experience dealing with that. And maybe they're just not sure, and they don't. And the problem with a lot of vets personally is they don't like to say, "Hey, I don't know," or like, "I am not sure." Because they think they know everything because they went to 8 years of school and they know a lot, but they don't know everything, and they especially don't know everything about your cat, right? You know about your cat. They don't know about your cat. You do because you're with them. Hello, it's Adore. It's outdoors. Thanks for popping in, friend. I hope you're doing well. But they don't know about your cat like you do. They see them for what, 20 minutes, a half hour. So, definitely advocate, and definitely, if you don't feel like you're getting the right diagnosis, then go somewhere else. I completely agree with you, Renee. Whether it's in the same building, or preferably, if you can, I always try to go to, or I always recommend cat only vets. There's not a ton of them out there, unfortunately, but there are cat only vets, because a cat is not a dog. Hello, Tranquil. Thanks for popping in, friend. I hope Miracle's doing well. Um, but anyways, definitely always advocate. Don't be afraid to, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I think when they're almost like doctors, right? You get into the doctor's office and you get quiet. Instead, on the opposite, you need to ask questions. Ask, ask, ask. Always ask. Always not challenge necessarily, but just ask questions. And then Renee, I'm going to do difficult clinics at this point in time, and so yeah, with Rascal. And you're in Turkey right now, and the vets care more about yeah. So that's the problem, and it's just not Turkey either, or I think it's Turkey, right? But it's also in the U.S. I think that a lot of veterinarian practices, because they see more dogs than cats. They think cats are basically just like little dogs. They're completely different species altogether. Um, but I don't know. Uh, just always advocate for your cats and for your dogs, for those who have dogs like Bert and like Judy and whoever else might have dogs that's in chat. All right. Let me take this. Let me go back here. And there's a couple of topics here, and I might get off topic. Sometimes I do get off topic on occasion. I will freely admit that. Sometimes, I will be talking about one thing, right? I'll be talking about like this one thing, but then somebody says something in chat and I kind of go off a little bit. Because that's what I want to have, is like an interactive chat. Because it's just not me like talking to a screen. It's talking to all of you and having a conversation with everybody in the chat. That's what this live is for. Um, so let's, though, real quickly, let me get back to this. Let me get back to my slide here for a second. Okay. And if you have any questions as this is going on, feel free. Absolutely feel free. Do not hesitate putting a question in the chat, and we can kind of either I'll kind of hold it for a second or I'll get right to it. All right. Back to this. All right. So, first thing I wanted to talk about real quickly, it was just adoptions. Now, how many people have adopted? So, a question for the chat. Adopted either from the Humane Society, adopted from a rescue group, adopted from an animal hospital. Who's adopted? And then I'll just post them kind of as they're popping up. Raph has got Alice and Pearl Jam, his two little kitties, two precious little kitties from the shelter. And rescued yours. So and rescued them from the just like from outside. They were just like strays kind of thing. Shelters here are death camps, so I would not take them there. In up in Turkey, and um, it's outdoor. I have adopted a kitty from the Humane Society and several dogs. Renee, I adopted Rascal out from under his previous owner and adopted Leo from a rescue as he was being rehomed. Okay. Uh, Judy, oh, and you can talk about dogs too. That's perfectly fine. I adopted my dog from the Humane Society, and the two cats were rescues. Um, L. George, when I was a kid, we had a few cats, and all of them were rescues. And then Renee, Lucy was rescued from my friend's backyard. So that's awesome. It's awesome to hear. And then Burrito, I got my kitty from a friend. Okay, cool. So it's always good to hear that there's compassionate people out there that are rescuing these cats in shelters or in animal hospitals or out on the streets. Now, I will say one thing that I wish, and I think you probably noticed this yourself, when you go to, like, say, an adoption event, where is everybody at? Like when they have cats, where are they? Where do they tend to flock to when there's an adoption event going on? Where do all the people tend to go to when there's kitties? Itsu is saying dogs. Well, we're just talking about cats in particular. They exactly. So that's that. Yep, yep. You got it, Raph. They go to kittens, right? And it's understandable. Kittens are cute. Kittens are fuzzy. Who doesn't like going up and playing with a kitten? When we worked for foster groups, we would always go to the kittens, right? Because they're cute, they're adorable. It's like, hey, it's a little fuzzy little kittens, right? But what I hope also that people would start to do is, and that's I'm sorry about that, and that there's no events. Maybe I don't know. Maybe hopefully that'll change. Is go to. I wish they would advocate a little bit more for the older cats, right? As far as adoptions go. Now, I don't know how many. I think most of you know Nick from Whole Southern Cooks, right? She was asking me last week on a stream, I think on Tuesday on one of my live streams, she was asking me about as far as adoptions go and just, like my opinion on, like the most affectionate breeds and, my just my general thoughts on adoptions. And in particular, like kittens versus an older cat. Let's say an older cat is like a year or two, like, right, like a cat, not a kitten anymore. I said, Nick, I think, regardless, adopting is great, but if you could try to adopt an older cat being a couple years at least. But, I wish that they kind of these groups kind of pushed older because it's hard. Nobody, well, say, hey, speaking of Nick, hey Nick, so we're talking about you asked a couple days ago as far as like adopting. You were thinking about adopting a new cat, sometime in the road. Hello, corner cue balls, clubhouse. Hello, CCC. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say the name. Hello, CCC, a tongue twister. You were talking about adopting, right? And I said, well, kittens are great, but if you could try to adopt an older cat, because I think And let me know in the chat. I think older cats, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I think that they will um, appreciate being adopted more than a kitten because a kitten doesn't know any better, right? They're young. But these older cats, though, they've been there. They like, they've been in a situation where they're locked in this little, these little cages, right? And I think they would just appreciate being adopted more. So, and let me see what Renee Rasco is almost four. Awesome, Renee. That's awesome. It's outdoors. I understand. I've also adopted older cats or dogs all my life, always. Yeah, I just think that those older kitties. Hello, Rob. Thanks you for popping in, friend. Hello, Luis. Thank you for popping in too. Um, let's see what Anne is saying. I took in an old cat at age 18. Awesome, and lives until 24. That's the one. Okay, awesome, awesome. That is awesome to hear. And yeah, so yeah, those older cats, like I was talking to Nick about it, those older cats, I'm telling you, they are more loving. They're different. They're different than the young kittens are. They just are. And you may not be with them for years and years, but the time that you do have with them is going to be so precious. Guarantee you. I absolutely guarantee you. So if anybody's thinking about adopting a cat anytime soon, try to adopt an older cat. Hello, Martha. Thanks for popping in, friend. Um, Nick, hey, I'm sick of bad sinus infection, so I wanted to come in and engage. Okay, I appreciate you being here, Nick. And then Anne just talking about that older kitty. That was the best 6 years ever. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Rob, as far as let me get here. Rob, as far as being allergic, there are. I mean, there's no such thing as an allergy-free cat, right? They don't exist, but there are certain breeds where um, their dander is a little less. So, and there's allergy pills, right? That a person could take. I mean, I'm allergic to dogs. Excuse me, I'm allergic to dogs technically, but I take allergy pills every day, and that definitely helps. So allergy pills are an option. Just if interested, kind of thing. There's always ways around stuff, right? Um, but anyways, so that's about adoptions. Let me see here what it's adore amazing cat. I think you were giving them an amazing life. Yep, absolutely. Nick, let me get to your question. I have that maybe there are no stupid questions here, Nick. The only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask, right? Because if you don't ask, you don't know. Um, it is too soon to want to me adopted well, Nick, that I can't answer, right? I mean that's your own like personal choice. Um, don't think. Let me. Hello, Black Widow. Thank you for popping in, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Don't think of it as like replacing, right? It's just if your heart is opened again to bring in another life here, and let me put in what Judy is saying because this is beautiful. It's saving another life. It's giving another cat time with you and time that they will cherish and time that you will cherish, and you can't give that back. So I would never feel guilty about that. If you know when it's ready, when you want to bring another kitty into your life, into your heart, into your house, again. So whenever you feel like you're ready to do that, then that's your call. Now I will say, personal experience, when we lost our little boy, who was only 5, okay? So he was just 5. He died, he passed away of feline leukemia. Um, he, obviously was a special boy because he was just 5, but we we went about 3 months or so until we decided to adopt and bring in another tuxedo, Whiskers Maximus. And, you know, I kind of thought it might have been too soon, but my wife really wanted that to happen. So we decided to adopt Max, and don't regret it 1 second. Um, so I think that there is no wrong time. It's whenever you feel like you are ready to adopt. And but if you have any questions though, Nick, because we talked a little bit about as far as adoptions go. If you have any questions, then just feel free to ask anybody in the chat, because most of these folks that are on the chat here, they are cat lovers, they are cat channels. My wife is actually putting in something. She doesn't usually say too much, but she's putting in the little boy started the tuxedo clan. Yeah, we've had 4 tuxedos so far in our house, and that will continue. And then let me get what Renee is saying. Um, I got Leo 2 months after. Yep, after he passed, and it helped me so much. Yeah, it hurts and it always will, but it's opening your heart up to that hurt, right? I mean, as hard as that is to say, you're opening your heart up to hurt, but it's also you're opening your heart up to love. So that's kind of what you're doing, to hurt but to heart to love. It's with the packaging. I think Luis had a question here. So this was the thing, Luis. The little boy, he wasn't well, okay, so he was born, but when we did the testing, right? Because when he's a kitten, you do all the testing, and he tested negative. Apparently what happened, or what we thought happened, what we think happened, something when he was around 5 years old, something must have triggered or activated the leukemia to become active. Something started it to activate. We have stress, maybe, because we were in the process of kind of moving. It's hard to say, but he tested negative as a baby, but it was in him, but it was dormant until something activated it, triggered it, started it. And the hardest thing for him, for that situation was, we did all a bunch of testing, because he was 25 pounds at his biggest. He was a big barn cat. He went down to 14 pounds, right? And when we finally got the diagnosis of feline leukemia, he passed away the next day. There is a story to that. I am going to post a video on that soon. But uh, the, so I will address that more when I have that video. But I do appreciate the question though, Luis. Um, Black Widow, all my cats have different personalities. Yeah, absolutely. You're not replacing. You're adding in. Yeah, and Nick. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here for, right? You know, Here to encourage, here to give advice, ask questions, answer questions. Um, Community, right? And to me, I mean, it's nothing against other communities out there, and it's nothing against anybody else, but the cat community, that's the best community there is on this platform. Nothing against any other type of community, but the cat community, to me, that's the best. I'm biased, obviously, though. I will admit to. Okay, let me quickly kind of transition, if everybody is good with that, um, onto this second thing here. Excuse me. I think this was something that Renee was talking about. I'm remembering she was kind of talking about like cat diet and cat nutrition, kind of what she's dealing with Leo not wanting to eat certain foods. Okay, so think about it. Cats are carnivores, right? Luis, you're welcome. Absolutely. Cats are carnivores. They're born natural. They're meat eaters, right? So ideally, ideally, like the best food for a cat to eat is. Hello, Barbara. Thanks for popping in, friend. And Barbara, I do. You have an elderly cat with diabetes. I'm right with you. Our 19-year-old Zelda, she is diabetic, and she's had diabetes for going on 7, 8 years now. And we can definitely talk about diabetes too, Barbara. We can definitely get on that topic. Hello, camera woman, for popping in. I think it's Maria, right? I'm trying to just get everybody's name correctly. Um, But yeah, I think it's Maria. But thank you for popping in too, friend. Barbara, I will swing back on diabetes in a moment. Just give me a second on that, okay? Appreciate the comment. I'll get back to that. Excuse me. So like I was saying, if you think about it, cats are natural meat eaters. So like ideally the best thing is just to have the cats go outside and just go, hunt for their food, right? I mean, kill a mouse. I mean, kill a bird. That's the natural way of doing things. But uh, we don't do that, right? Or at least I don't do that. I mean, maybe some do, but I don't do that because I have indoor cats. So, you know, um, that's the ideal situation. Now, I got to be honest with you. Myself, the foods that I give our cats, Fancy Feast, um, Purina One, um, Fancy Feast, Purina One, Blue Buffalo. I think that those are kind of your higher quality cat foods. Of course, look at the cans, right? And let me show you something. I'm gonna share my screen here for a second. So just give me a moment. Let me share my screen on. Uh, Hold on, I gotta get the right tab. I just wanted to show something. Let me get this. Let me put in cat food. Just give me a second. Okay. Hello, Trev. I think I saw you popped in there. Hello. Hope you're doing well, friends. Thank you for popping in. All right. So let me share this. Okay. So I typed in cat food, right? And this is insane. Look, and then let me scroll down. Cat food here. All right. I have Hills. I have Friskies. I have Meow Mix. I have Fancy Feast. I have Hills again. I have Cat Chow, which is Purina. I have Purina. I have Blue Buffalo. I have Meow Mix. I have more Friskies. I have Sheba. Look at all of I have Kitten Caboodle, right? I have Imes. Um, it is insane how many different type. We have Royal Canin. Um, you have Science Diet. You have so many options of cat food, and it's a little overwhelming. I think I'm going to stop sharing, but I just want to give like a little example there. Let me get back to the chat. Um, there are just it's insane. And it's the same with dogs. Dogs have a lot of different choices too. Let me pop this on BW. Um, yeah, so there are definitely there. I don't think. See, I don't believe that cats should be eating grains, right? Like tomatoes or carrots. Excuse me. Or peas or vegetables. I don't think the cat should be eating stuff like that. They need to be eating like meat, chicken, fish, but you got to be careful with fish. I'll get to fish in a second. um Let me so Renee, as soon as I can find, I'm going to email you a file link to a study. Perfect, beautiful. I look forward to that email, Renee. Definitely something we can talk about. Absolutely. um Let me see. Luis is they feed Sheba and Blue Buffalo. Burrito, Perino is one of the best for burrito. I guess my wife is saying sounds like the cereal aisle. Yeah, pretty much. Um, let me pop this back off and let me put this on. Renee, I did extensive research about cat food when Rascal was starting to get sick. So, the thing with cats is they, like humans in a way, we can adapt, right? So you can give a cat almost anything to eat and they will adapt, right? Let me put it this way. And you might have seen the same stuff, Renee. There has been research with some of the cat foods, even the ones that I will admit that I do give our kitties, the Purina one, the Fancy Feast, stuff like that. There are starting to be links that are being found with some of this cat food and hyperthyroidism, which is not a good thing. Some of this cat food and diabetes. right? Which is not a good thing. Um, some of this cat food and some health issues, right? So, best case scenario is to try to, if possible, of course, to give your kitties, you know, homemade stuff, as long as you know what you're doing. I've never done homemade, so I'm not going to speak for that because I would speak on something I have no idea about because I'm not going to say anything about that. Let me see what Luis is putting up. Well, our cats eat lettuce and pumpkin. Pumpkin is fine. I'm not sure about the lettuce, Luis. I mean, I'm sure you researched it. I think if they crave a food and it's not toxic, they can have it. I believe straight dry food is so bad for them. The the thing with straight dry food is wet food is better. There's no doubt about that. Wet food is better because it has the moisture content, right? Already. Hello, John. Thanks for popping in, friend. Hope you're doing well, John. Right now, John, we were just talking about diets with cats. So it's kind of an interesting conversation, interesting topic. So that's what we're doing right now. Um, so wet food, if possible, is better for moisture content. It's better because they get that water that they need, like right there. Because like I was saying, cats only need like so much water. They need it like right to here every day. So wet food is always better if possible. But see, to me, stuff like IAMS or like science diet, it's kind of tricky because is there because you ever notice like vets are always pushing like these specialty foods. I kind of wonder why sometimes. Are they pushing these specialty foods because it's better for them? Mm. Or are they pushing these specialty food because, well, there's a little bit of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Hate to say it like that, but I think that's a bit a part of it, to be honest with you. Um, you know, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree, obviously, but that's just my opinion. John, the diet is so confusing. With people and cats too. Yeah, definitely, John. So, my opinion is always research what you're feeding your animal, your cat or your dog. Always research what they're being fed. And I don't mean your animal. Always research what you're feeding them. If you're not sure, then look on the can. Right? Look on the can. Um, I would say if you see on your can, like the behind, like the little, like your little ingredients on the back of it, if it doesn't start with stuff like, like chicken, if your first like three or four ingredients aren't things that you recognize, that you know what it is, then maybe you shouldn't be feeding them. Um, I would also say be careful with grains. And I would also say let me what is be careful with fish. Let me get to fish in a second here. Luis is just saying, yep, it just thinks it's for products, and I'm in the pharmaceutical industry, and it's the same in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that, but yeah, I kinda. All right, let's pop that off. So the thing about fish, I don't know about your kitties, right? I don't know about your kitties, but my kitties, they want to be seafood junkies, right? Cats and seafood go hand in hand. Cats and fish, cod fish, seafish, most seas fish, tuna, whatever. They're seafood junkies. Now, this is kind of tricky. Let me put what BW most prominent ingredients are listed first. Yep, first in the order, absolutely. And John, I feed Friskies shreds for wet food, only Blue Buffalo for dry food, which is expensive, but there are no carbs. Okay. Yeah, what's kind of funny? It's kind of like with humans, like you were saying, John, right? We're told, hey, low carb diet, protein, but then another study says no, you need more carbs. So it's like this back and forth. It always changes. Um, but balanced. Let's try to put this balanced. A balanced diet. Uh, you need carbs for energy, right? You need protein to think for your brain, right? You need fats for energy also. Try to get a balanced diet as much as possible. Let me and one of my cats won't eat anything with chicken. It is but anything that is fishy. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um so let me get back to fish real quickly. Let me kind of circle back to fish. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in my mind. The great thing about fish is or the needed thing for fish, that the taurine that's in fish, that is very important for cats, the taurine. They need that. It's a vital nutrient that they need to be healthy. Now, kind of on the flip side though, with fish, canned fish, fish, catfish food is it can cause elevated iodine levels, right? And that can throw off the thyroid. And that's where, excuse me, that's where you can get these elevated thyroid levels, and that's where you can get the hyperthyroidism. That's something that's growing across the country. So fish, just be careful with fish. They need taurine, but they don't need, they don't need fish all the time. And I'm guilty. I will fully admit that sometimes, we get fish because that's what they'll eat, because they'll sniff the nose at the other stuff. But we're trying to do a little less fish. Having 9 cats, I would tell you this: having 9 cats, anybody who has more than a couple cats, it is tricky to say the least, um, to feed 9 cats. Uh, we have about almost all of our cats. They eat something different. The dry food is all the same, but wet food is a little different. So it can be definitely a little challenging. Um, Now, does anybody? I'm just kind of going through chat here. I don't want to talk about YouTube stuff too much, so I'm kind of going to leave that off to the side, as far as YouTube stuff goes. But does anybody have any other questions or any other thoughts about diet? Because we can definitely talk more about that. Excuse me, if you do. I'll give a few moments. Yeah, diet is something. I mean, in reality, gosh, diet can be a 2 hour, a 10 hour thing. Maybe we'll dedicate. Maybe I'll dedicate like a particular Sunday with just diet itself. Let me. So John, I have 4 cats and none of them eat beef. Um, Nick, yeah, they definitely have certain requirements, but can you be a little bit more like specific on like a question on what you mean by that? So, but yeah, they definitely would have different requirements. And do you mean like nutritionally? Um, I asked a question about wet cat food. Uh, That's another thing, Luis. Thank you for reminding me on that, because I did forget about that. Is mercury? Yeah, you definitely have to be careful also with mercury as far as fish goes, because it can elevate levels and it can throw things off. Some mercury, yes, but too much mercury is not good. So yeah. Um, Rascal and Lucy, I sent you emails, questions. Okay, I will definitely read that, Renee, and I will give you my thoughts on that, and we can definitely converse about that. So I look forward to, excuse me, I look forward to reading that. Thank you, Renee. Um, I would say, Nick, yes. So older cats, like humans, right? Older cats, they might need a different type of food. Now, again, this is kind of getting back into like a science diet. There are particular diets that have been manufacturally made in a lab for older cats and older dogs. So they definitely, just like people, just like humans, when you get older, your nutritional needs change, right? And what you could eat or what you might want to eat when you're younger, you can't eat necessarily as you're older, or those things will change. However, though, however, I will also let me just kind of just I'm sorry, guys, I'm just looking at the chat here real quickly too. Okay, so I also will say though, and again, this is just my experience. Our 19-year-old diabetic cat has lived on Fancy Feast like her entire life, and she is perfectly fine, besides the diabetes, obviously, but she is perfectly fine. Now, am I saying that a person shouldn't like do science diet or they shouldn't get a food that their vet recommends? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying though that I think sometimes those like, you know, specialty foods, if you will, are pushed, are not pushed, that's not the right word. They are recommended to pet parents, and they may not necessarily need to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Uh, there are certain like situations where maybe weight management, right? There are like weight management foods for an overweight kitty. My thing to that is, okay, so the food will help a little bit, but what'll help a little bit more is exercise, right? Is playing with your kitty, is getting them to move if possible. Um, but I think there definitely would be certain types of food that might be helpful as far as an older cat goes. Okay. Um, let me see. And let me know, Nick, if you have another question off of what I said. More than happy to keep on discussing that topic. It's definitely worth doing the research into food diets. Many think it's tedious, but it's really worth it. Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all with that, Renee. I don't disagree at all. Um, Nick, you're welcome, Nick. Let me know if you have any questions. Just let me know on that. All right. I think we talked about, I don't know, diet for maybe a little good little chunk of while. Um, so let me kind of switch gears here for a second, and let me see, what did I have. Let me put this back up on here again. Um, yep, Renee, you have to research and decide what is best. Yep, and do that research and get different opinions, and then figure out what is best in your particular situation. Absolutely. All right. So number three, because this is another pretty darn important thing. Um, Litter boxes. And before I get to that, let me see what Trank will put on. I had a vet scold me for feeding Fancy Feast. She said it was like feeding McDonald's. See, yeah, yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. I don't believe that whatsoever. I just think that those vets, they want to push their food that's up on their walls because it costs more. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's what I think. Because vets, they have a certain mind frame, and it's not sometimes based on um like how life actually works. I mean, this is like the ideal situation, but there's ideal situation and then there's like real life experience and real life stuff. So sometimes the two don't quite mesh, right? Sometimes they hit they come off, they don't quite work. But anyways, let me get on to the next one. um it's like I said, we could talk a lot about diet. What did I say? Boo, 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 boo. Litter boxes. Okay, so litter boxes. This is another pretty important one. Um, uh, Nick, yes, I actually had a vet say pretty much everything except for Blue Buffalo and a science diet is trash. Yeah, well, I mean, they can have their opinion, which is, it's America, right? You can definitely have your opinions on stuff like that, but as the consumer, I can have my opinion too. That's why we live in America. you know, it's a beautiful country that we live in. We need to fight for our freedoms, and we need to advocate for our felines, right? All right. So litter boxes. I think I saw John say a comment. Let me see, where was it at? Because the next thing I was talking about was going to be litter box. John, where is your comment at? I think it was John. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, so now um, as far as litter boxes go, John, perfect example here. This is what I wanted to talk about. John has four kitties. I think everybody knows John. If you don't, hey, check him out if you want to. I'm not going to tell you to, but if you want to check John out, and it's the same with everybody. I think everybody is connected here that's in this chat, anyways. But if you're not, then check each other out. See how it works. That's my little, connection thing. But John has four kitties, and as he says, my question was going to be, how many litter boxes do you have, and how many litter boxes do you need? John has five. So he's got one per kitty, and he's got that extra one, right? And that is the ideal situation. Now, I know that, again, there's ideal and then there's real life. Ideally, you want one per cat, and you want that one extra one too. That's the ideal situation. It looks like Renee here is saying that she has the three litter boxes. So she's got one for each, and then she's got that extra one too. I think Tranquil said that she's got, and it's harder, Tranquil. So I'm with you, right? You got the nine, I got the nine. You have eight litter boxes. I have one, two, three. I have six. I technically have like 10, but I really have six that I use that's currently being used. Again, just being honest. Um, I would put more out if it was needed, but with my nine, it doesn't. It's not required. Six. Hello, Icon. Thanks for popping in, friend. Hope you're doing well. Excuse me. Let me see. Let me just get to this question real quickly. Oop, not that question. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There we go. I only have one litter box. No, I don't think you need another one, Burrito. One cat, I think, was fine for one litter box. One cat, one litter box. I think that's perfectly fine. Raf, we have one giant litter box when we're home, and then two giant when we're away. Yeah. So, what I wanted to talk about though with litter boxes, in particular, was a burrito. You're welcome. Absolutely, you're welcome. Yeah, and we're going to talk about litter also in a second. Ideally, I, right? Ideally, have more. Have at least as many cats as you have, and have one extra. That's ideal. It's not always life though, because like I said, I only have six, but it works for me, and it works for them. Um, but what can happen though is, oh, and also, scooping litter. This is something that I've talked to some people and I don't understand at all, right? So I asked them, I've had conversations with people like, how many cats do you have? And they're like, I'm just hypothetically situation here. Let's just say they have three, okay? They have three cats, and let's say they have two litter boxes, right? And I asked them like, well, how often do you scoop the litter, out? And they say, well, maybe once every 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, what? You only do it once every 2 or 3 days? You scoop their litter? I mean, like, no wonder you're having some problems here. Um, Again, I scoop my litter once a day. I scoop it at nighttime. I do my log rolling, right? I think everybody's kind of heard me when I'm in chat sometime, other people's live. Well, it's time to it's time to roll some logs, right? So that's what I'm doing. I am scooping. scooping that. Hey, Luis, if you work, do it 3 times a day. Hey, if that works for you, and John, I see your morning and night. I mean, if that works for you, awesome. But what works for me, because honestly, the litter that I get, and that's part of the litter that I get too, and we'll get to that in a second. It doesn't. In all honesty, like when people come in and I tell them they have 9 cats, they're like smelling around, right? And they're like shocked. You have how many cats? I'm like 9. And you have how many litter boxes? I'm like 6. I'm like, it doesn't smell like anything. I know. I know. Um, but again, that's me. I scoop once a day, and it works for me. Now, if I feel like um, if I need to change that as their behavior dictates, right, then I'll change it. Um, Let me see. It's, Louise, heck no. Scooping once is okay. Nick, I usually do it twice a day. My cats have always been picky and scream at us. They've trained you though. They've trained you well, Nick. They've trained you there. Um, and cats definitely they can train you very well. Believe me, I know how kitties can train. But anyways, uh, oh, so here's what I was going to say also about litter boxes. One, litter, right? So again, kind of like cat food, there's not a ton of litter out there. There's not like a lot of options, but with litter, unlike cat food, I truly believe that you get what you pay for as far as litter goes. Again, you got to do what is best for you and what you can afford, obviously. For me, I have Scoop Away, which it is more expensive, and then I have the world's best cat litter, and that combination seems to work pretty well for my cats, right? Now, if in all honesty, if I could get all of my cats to go into the world's best cat litter one, I would, because one of the good things about the world's best cat litter is it doesn't have any dust, right? Now, I'm not worried about dust getting like kind of like around the litter box because you can clean, right? You can clean your home. But one of the problems sometimes, excuse me, with dust is they can inhale it and maybe it can cause some irritation. I think there's also been some studies as far as dust goes that it can cause some lung issues, right? Some breathing issues. So if I could, I mean, if my cats would let me use the world's best cat litter, I'd be using that. But unfortunately, they don't. We've tried, uh, but they don't. So those are the two that I go with: the world's best cat litter and Scoop Away. Tranquil, you use Tidy Cats. Okay. And then there's also Tranquil. Let me see what else you had here. I love that we all generally care about cats. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, just here briefly, the other thing I wanted to talk about since I'm talking about cat litter, and litter boxes in general, is if your kitty, especially if it's a younger kitty, and let's say younger is 10 and under, okay? Yeah, 10 and under, let's say. If you notice that they're peeing or pooping outside of the litter box, right? Not all the time, but the majority of the time for that particular behavior is there is some sort of underlying medical issue. By NPP, thanks for popping in, NPP. I appreciate it. We will see you next time, and I'll check out your premiere that you had earlier today. And thank you for popping in, NPP. Have a good week. All right. I'll get to this in a second, Renee. But anyway, so like I was saying, when it comes to if a cat is peeing or pooping outside the litter box, if they're under 12 or under 10, then there might be very likely a medical issue that's going on, and definitely would recommend getting some blood work done. You could have some kidney issue going on. It's usually kidney issues for the most part, is what that'll be, but not always. Shannon Tyrement. I'm gonna mess that. I'm just gonna call you Shan or Shane if that's cool with you. Thank you for popping in, friend. Hope you're doing well. Renee asking me about wood pellet litter. Renee, we have tried way long ago. Maybe not that exactly, but like the little, probably the same thing, like the little pellets, right? My opinion on those are it's fine for like poop, right? But the thing that I don't like about that is when the peeing happens, because think about it, as you're kind of scooping it up, you're scooping up such large chunks of it potentially. And I just think it's a kind of a waste. Um, so I'm not a fan of that. I mean, I guess there's no dust, and it could be a healthier choice, right? But it's probably better for the environment also. But I'm just personally, I'm not a fan of that myself. Um, Hello, Dirk. Thank you for popping in, Dirk. Hope you're doing well. So let me pop this comment off. John, paying the P is with the wood pellet stuff, right? Yeah, that's the problem with that type, is that's why I'm not. I see the appeal to it, and I see a lot of pros that it has, but I think the cons outweigh the pros. Ideally, right, you just train your cats to use the toilet. I mean, right? That's the ideal situation. They just say use the bathroom like you do. And then you just teach them to beep, flush. That's the ideal situation, but hey, I don't know of any cats that are actually toilet trained myself. Um, Let me see, Luis. I have to go on my walk before it gets dark. Thank you for doing this, Adam. I'm good at talking, so I think it's super cool. So, oh yeah, absolutely, Luis. I appreciate you popping in. Stay safe out there with your walk. Have a good one. But we will, see Bean, Scarlet, Percy, and I'm forgetting the other ones. Ralphie. I might have missed one, but I appreciate you coming in. Um, Let me see. But another thing I wanted to talk about, and let me actually give me a second here. I'm going to share the screen again. I'm going to just type in litter boxes, and I'm going to share the screen. Uh, do, 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 do. All right. Let's present. Let's share. Yep. And I want to share this screen. Okay, so hopefully everybody can share. Share. Everybody can see this screen. Okay, let's just look at this litter box, for example. Okay, so hopefully everybody should be able to see this. I'm just on Chewy, right? And let me go back to chat for a second just to make sure everybody is good. Okay. All right. So this kind of litter box, it's fine for younger cats, right? We have the bulk of our 6 litter boxes. 4 are, they kind of look not exactly like this, but they're higher up, right? Now, look at this. They're taller, right? Now, when I was talking about litter boxes and cats, if they're under 10, if they're not peeing or pooping, or if they are peeing or pooping outside of the litter box, it's usually a medical situation. But let's say you have a cat that's 10 or older, like they're getting into that senior age, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, right? The issue now is is the reason they might be peeing or pooping outside of that litter box. It may be still a medical problem, but what the problem probably is more so is that litter box is too high for them, right? Just think about it. You're an older cat, you probably have arthritis. It's not feasible. It's harder for you to get in and out of that box. So what are you going to do instead? You're going to pee on the floor next to it, right? You want to try to get in there, but you can't, because it's too high. So what we do, and let me stop sharing for a second. Let me get back to this. So what we have instead are the senior. It's basically like a senior litter box. They're like low entry. I'm gonna find it and I'll pop it on the screen here. Um, Let me get back to sharing. Let me share the screen again. And let's get to, just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so everybody should see this screen here. Okay, so what's nice about these, because we have some older cats. See how much smaller that, or how much? Let me get to it. See that entry, like that barrier? It's only 3 inches. Okay, it's not like 6 inches. So I would highly recommend, if you do have some older kitties and maybe it's a little hard for them to get into those higher litter boxes, use these types instead. It doesn't have a top, yes, so there might be a bit of a smell because it's not contained within the litter box, right? But trust me, if you have older kitties, they will definitely appreciate these low litter boxes. Because it's going to be much easier for them to get in and out of it, right? Because they're probably having arthritis, they're probably having some kind of issue, and that could be, not necessarily is, but could be a reason on why they're pooping and peeing outside of the litter box, because it's too painful for them to get into the litter box. All right, I'm going to stop sharing that. Let me get back to chat. Um, uh, Let me see. Tranquil is saying that my litter, yeah, and some cats, Tranquil, some cats don't like a litter box because the problem with that litter box top sometimes is they feel like they're kind of trapped, like they can't. It goes back to their instinct. They get in the litter box and they need to like look around. It's like, is there any predators? Is anybody like here? They don't necessarily feel safe sometimes with that. Um, Right? I mean, I don't know. It seems to help with me and ours, but yeah, I mean, if somebody like drops, uh, uh, um, let me put it this way, right? If somebody drops like a really stinky one, and if they don't cover it up, then yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a bit of a smell going on. And thanks for popping in also, Ray. I appreciate it. Talking about kitties here. But yeah, there definitely can be a smell. It's the same with us, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. We go to the bathroom, right? And sometimes as we're going to the bathroom, or when we get up, there's definitely a smell there, right? Uh, but yeah, no, it doesn't help with the smell. Um, I agree with you on that. All right, pop that off. So, anybody have any other questions or any other thoughts as far as litter boxes go? Let me know if you do. And then we have one other topic, and then we had a couple of questions. So I appreciate all of you popping in here, and talking about our felines here. It's something I can talk about all day, but I'm not, limit these to 2 hours. But love talking about these kitties. Let's see what Barbara is saying here. I used uncovered totes when because my cats were too big for regular litter boxes. Now I use a covered one with a ramp. Perfect. Yep. And that's another thing I was going to say with those ramps. They're good for those older kitties also. Um, and it's so nice to be able to talk about your famous. Awesome, Ann. Glad to hear. Ray, Jess used to use the little filter on top, but the cats we have now just ripped off Judith. Yeah, yeah, Ray. I think we have there might be one that we had to get rid of, but most of the time they don't mess with them. But I definitely know where you're coming from as far as that goes. The other thing I wanted to say on litter boxes, too, is, and I don't mean just like scooping the litter out, right? Which I just, like I said, I do daily. And again, this is what I do. You can let me know in the chat what you do. But about every 3 months or so, excuse me, about every 3 months or so, we take out all of the litter, right? We dump all of the litter out. Um, and we scrub them down. We get soap, we get water, we have a little scrubber, right? And we sanitize them, we clean them all the time. We clean them up and down. We get them sterilized. Um, that's just something that I do. Let me know in the chat. Is that something that you all do too? Do you empty out the litter box like entirely and clean it with soap and water? If not, it's something I would, I would suggest, or I would highly recommend that you also do, or maybe you do. Just let me know in the chat. And that's kind of the last thing as far as litter. Let me see here, Martha. You do it about every 6 weeks, so you do it better. You do it more than I do, Martha. About every 3 months is a good system for me. But if you do it every 6 weeks, then awesome. Ray, you clean them every now and then. Okay, nice, nice. Um, Alice, Raf. So the thing, Raf, I would say I would suggest about soap is sometimes hose won't, and especially like a scrubber. Sometimes just a hose, it won't get some of those stains, right? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes there's like pee stains. It's just you hose it like right on it, right? And it doesn't come off. So that's why the soap and then the scrubber. But maybe Alice and Pearl Jam, they don't leave those stains. Uh, but I mean, again, that's just me. Um, what is Ray saying? We have a couple litter boxes in the front porch where they hang out. We dump the old litter in them and renew the litter inside. Okay. Yeah, cleaning litter boxes, it's not a fun thing, but it's a necessity. It's a necessity for me. Um, but that's just me. Okay. What is and I have a crazy cat that loves to roll on the side of the tile the moment we wash it with bleach water. Oh, hey John, if you got a pressure washer, then yeah. I still like the soap though because I don't know. I feel like if you don't have soap, it's not like water has sanitizing materials in it, right? But you know, um, I just like that soap. And I'm not talking I pour like a whole thing of dish soap in there. It's just a little bit. It only needs just a tiny little bit. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's okay, so the next thing, water bowls. Now, it's water bowls and it's also food bowls, so it's both, okay? I just put water bowls, but again, what kind of water bowls does everybody use and what kind of food bowls? And what I mean by that is, do you use plastic water bowls and plastic food bowls, ceramic water bowls and ceramic food bowls? What do you all use as far as bowls go, water and food bowls? Let me, as y'all thinking about that, let me see what Renee is putting here. Um, I can always tell which cat left a pee clump. Leo somehow always to get the pee right on the side of the litter box. He makes it stick to the side. Yeah, and you got to dig on it. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it, Renee? I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling. Um, Let me see. Notice never had a flea on her. And then Raf, ceramic and metal. Okay. Ray stainless, John always using a drinking fountain, Judy with a thumbs up there, uh, Martha, I have a fountain and a metal bowl, and Renee, okay, perfect. So I was gonna say I would never, I would not use plastic or those like cheap. Uh, oh, okay, so burrito. Here's what I was gonna say. Um, The reason I personally, again, this is just me. The reason I don't care for plastic food bowls or plastic water bowls is one, they can get bacteria on them, right? Two, because they can get that bacteria on them, you might notice sometimes cats, especially like up here, they'll get like this little black stuff, right? Like on their chins and things like that. Sometimes that's just cat acne, but a lot of the times, or some of the time, that's going to be caused from those type of bowls. Um, so whenever you can, and again, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's not what this is about at all. But I would definitely, though, whenever you have the opportunity, change to ceramic because ceramic, unlike plastic, it won't have that bacteria growth. I mean, yeah, true. You can wash plastic, but ceramic is the way to go, if you can. And let me just say, burrito cat. I had a cat that was allergic to plastic. Yeah, just I would stay away from plastic. Um, John, stainless steel drinking fountains with filters. Yeah, yeah. Uh, let's see. And we use still bowls for both food and water. Um, uh, absolutely, burrito. You are welcome. Absolutely. Uh, Judy, I had to take him to the vet because his shin broke out. Yeah, because it was the plastic bowl. Yeah. Yep. Um, another thing, and again, this is what's in within your means, right? And what's within your budget. Water fountains. I would definitely recommend water fountains. Um, one, it's healthier for them, right? And two, now a cat will drink water out of anything, right? They will. But a cat prefers most of the time to drink out of something that is flowing. Not all of the time, of course, but the majority of the time, cats like something that is flowing. It's something in their instincts. It's something like in their genes. They like that flowing water. Um, so again, if possible, I would highly recommend a water fountain also. Now, of course, with everything else, I got to put this up. So, and I had a water fountain once, and Kayla thought that that was a toilet. That's pretty funny, Anne. Um, so what I was saying, of course, with anything else, there are pros and cons, right? So the pro to a water fountain is, like I said, it's that flowing water. Let me see what Ray's popping here. I think cats prefer to drink still nasty water from a puddle. Maybe if they have no choice, Ray. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, each cat is different. They have their own personality, right? They have their own characteristics. They have their own style. So, um, just from what I've seen and from what I've always, research that I've done, kind of thing. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong because it's the individual cat preference. Is they prefer just that kind of like that free flowing water. Nothing against bowls and stuff like that, but it's just just my opinion on that. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So the con though with water bowls, realistically, depending on how many cats are using said water bowl, you got to clean them out like once or twice, about every other week or so, give or give or take. Because if you don't clean them out like every couple of weeks, give or take, then I'll tell you what, they're gonna get nasty inside. They have filters, yes, but they're gonna get slimy with that cat saliva, because everybody's licking, right? So they're gonna have that cat saliva. Um, so make sure that you're cleaning out those water fountains every couple of weeks or so, maybe once a month. It just depends on your cats and how many cats you have. Let's see, just kind of go into the chat here. Tranquil. I gave my outside cats a water ball and they still drink. Hey, maybe that's what they're used to. So again, I'm not saying every cat does that, and if that's what they're used to, and if that works for them, then you know, then that works. John, cats love pond water, something natural. Yeah, maybe it may be. Clip that licking. That'll be a YouTube short, right? I'm not gonna lick again though. Not gonna lick again. But anyways, so yeah, just clean the water fountains. Once a month or around there. Um, okay. There were some questions, so I think that's all the topics that I had. And again, so that email that's up there, if you ever want to have a topic, and I'm going to put this in a community post in a couple days, but if you ever want to have a topic during this time, like during this cat stuff, then let me know. Send me an email that's linked up to the top of this live, or Adam Licks hashtag, or just get in contact with me somehow, and I will put up any topic, and we will definitely talk about it, for sure. Have a good conversation about it. Um, let me put that off. So that's the topics, and then questions. Now, these two questions, I think I don't know if Judy is still with us or not, but these questions Judy had. She gave me a couple of questions earlier in the week. First question, as y'all can see, why do cats purr? So, chat, why do you think cats purr? Are there particular times when cats purr? What do you think? Why do cats purr? There's a lot of potential reasons, and let's just kind of see what folks say. Raf, happy, definitely. They do definitely. They purr when they're happy. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Burrito the cat purrs when you pet them. Yep, they definitely do. And yeah, getting bad, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't want to keep you. I mean, if you gotta go, perfect. Not perfect, but you know what I mean. I appreciate you being here, Anne, and I look forward to next time. And have a good rest of your day, and have a good night. Hopefully, didn't get you in trouble there, but have a good night, Anne. Um, Let me see here. Barbara, part of the breathing process as far as purring goes. Okay. Um, Ray. Oh, Anne. Yeah, Anne. Let me. I will definitely. There'll be a. I'll have a community link announcement. These are every Sunday, but I'll give a community link announcement as far as that goes. Excuse me. Ray, mostly when comfortable. Darkness has done it on occasion lately, and that's great. Darkness, what you've been doing, or Ray, what you've been doing with Darkness, getting him used to you, I saw in your last video, you were kind of petting him with like a little what are those called, like a little twisty tie kind of thing, like a little bread tie or something, and then you're able to pet him with your hand. So that's awesome. um let's see, and then Renee, they also purr when they are in pain or as a soothing process. um John, my cats purr when they're looking out in the open window at the birdies. Um, Hello there, Icon. Thanks for popping in, friend. Sometimes mine will purr when I'm not feeling good, and they'll lay next to me to make me feel better and purr. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. So it's kind of crazy, right? So a lot of people tend to think that cats only purr when they're happy, content, um, but they can purr when they're happy. They can purr when they're content. They can purr kind of like what Renee was referring to. They can purr when they are in pain, or when that they're in discomfort. And it can. There's something about. I think there's still some research to be done, but there's something about the purring mechanism, like the frequency of the purr, that somehow it can help kind of heal a wound, or heal the body, their body, which is really, really fascinating and really, really cool. Let me see what Nick is saying here. Do you think cats know? Oh, definitely, Nick. Yeah, I definitely. I definitely think that cats know when you are sick. Absolutely. And because they know when you're sick, that's why when you notice, I mean, if you have cats, if you have a few, if you have, 10, if you have whatever, that you'll notice that they tend to kind of be by your side a little bit more, right? Kind of like what Renee was saying earlier. You notice that they'll be up there with you, and then maybe they'll knead on you, right? Or they'll purr next to you, because they sense that there's something wrong with my human here. There's something wrong, there's something going on, they're not feeling well, so let me come up here and let me try to see what's going on and see if I can help them. So yeah, I definitely think that they can. I think they sense that they know when there's something going on, and I think they definitely try to comfort you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Icon, I've been here doing gaming. This was 5 monitors. Yeah, you're like kind of like Bert there and his like 5 laptops. Well, I appreciate you being here, Icon. Um, Barbara, my cat is a companion animal. Yeah. They got to take care of the meal ticket. Yeah. No humans, no food. Well, out in the wild, I guess, but not in their home. Um, but anyways, yeah. So it seems like we got that topic or that question covered. They can purr when they're happy, they can purr when they're sad, they can purr when they're upset, they can purr as part of a healing process. Absolutely. So let me see. Renee, cats know when another cat is sick as well. Lucy used to lay right up to Rascal, and purr when he wasn't feeling good. That's how they became best friends. Awesome. Awesome, Renee. Um, and then I guess Ray just kind of talking to Nick about her pollen. Yeah, with the sinuses. It's not even pollen season, right? We don't even see that evil yellow stuff yet, but we know it's coming. All right, so that was one question. Let me get to the second question here. So, question number two: why do cats have whiskers? So why? Why do we think, chat? What do y'all think yourselves? Why do cats have whiskers? What would that reason be for those whiskers? Um, so Raph, if their head can fit. Okay, so you mean if like their head can fit through things, I'm assuming. Um, Nick, to feel things, kind of like to feel around, maybe like what's going on in their kind of in their what am I trying to say, in their area, like spatially. Um, right, for styling, multicolored whiskers, right? Uh, let's see, Raf. So yeah, okay, okay. Always styling in that fashion accessory. Tranquil. I had a cat that knew another cat was going to die. Okay. Um, oops, I missed something here. Whiskers, to see how wide they are and if they can get their fat bodies in a hole. Okay. Well, there's definitely some kitties that are more chunky than others. Little chunkified. I got a few chunky kitties myself. God bless them. Um, let's see. Whiskers are like radar or sonar as sensory features to detect when the whole body can fit through a space. Okay. So yeah, definitely. Those whiskers are um Kind of like what we're kind of like what sorry, Renee was saying. They're like a sensor or like a radar detection kind of. Because the thing is, cats they don't actually they can't see very well like up close, right? Like I'm kind of up close to this monitor, kind of showing my age, but they don't see very well up close. So those whiskers that they have, let me get this out of the way. Those those whiskers that they have, they can kind of say like give them a sense, kind of like dolphins in a way, that with that kind of that or like bats in a way. So it's pretty cool as far as the whiskers go. Um, Obviously, never cut a cat's whiskers. I'm sure you all know that. Never trim cat's whiskers. Never do anything with their whiskers. And the reason why is those whiskers are actually deep down they're attached to like their central nervous system. So if you're cutting them, you know, I'm not saying anybody is, but I've seen some pretty bad things where people, for like a game or for like a dare, they are cutting cat's whiskers or trimming them. Um, but yeah, no, don't do that. I'm sure none of you do. Because you can kind of sense, you can kind of by cutting those whiskers, you're because they kind of see through those cat whiskers. It's kind of they kind of can see through them. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So let me see. That's what I read. Is that's why they sniff everything before they eat. Yeah, because they're kind of their whiskers kind of get close to it too. Right. Nick, that is the $64,000 question, right? Why do people do a lot of stupid stuff when it comes to animals? Remember we talked last week. Why did people declaw their cats? Why did people debark their dogs? Because people are stupid. I mean, I don't know. I would consider that to be abuse, also. Burrito, definitely. Um, Renee, most people don't realize the cats have whiskers on top of their head. Yeah, so that's another thing I was gonna. Hello, Crystal. Thanks for popping in, friend. Yeah, so that's another thing. You beat me to that punch, Renee. Um, yes, cats also on their, and a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, let's just say this is it's not a. Do I have a picture? I always like to do pictures. Um, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Pictures are always better to me. Let me share my screen one more time. And let me share this. Okay. So, excuse me. So yeah, on the back of their feet, I was gonna say their paws, on the back of their limbs. And not all cats have this, actually. You might, I don't know, maybe curiosity. Go check your kitties, see which ones have whiskers and which ones don't, because not all of them will have these whiskers. Let me put it this way: maybe all of them won't be as pronounced as this like whisker is, or as pronounced as like this whisker is, right? These whiskers, but kind of the same concept though. They're there to help them kind of detect kind of the environments around them. Kind of interesting, but Renee, like you were saying, a lot of people do not know that cats have those whiskers on their limbs. Also, it's usually just the front paws, though. I think it's almost always just the front paws, actually, but there might be some with the back paws. All right, let me stop sharing again, and let me get back to chat. So just a little interesting little something. All right, let's get back here. Uh, let me take that comment off, Renee. All right. Those are the only questions. Oh, another thing, yeah. So Ray, whiskers, they do shed, right? Just like their claws, right? They scratch, right? To kind of, well, one, sharpen their claws, but also to get off the dead keratin, that dead skin. So whiskers will, they'll shed or they'll fall off, right? That will happen. That's natural. No worries about that. John, please don't trim whiskers or the claw. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, okay, so those are the two questions. Does anybody have any other questions or any other things they want to talk about? I have about 10 more minutes on here, and then I'm going to be piecing out here. I like to try to keep these about 2 hours or so. But if you have any questions, if you have any things, you know, anything to discuss, I don't think I have any other slide stuff going on. Oh, yeah, actually, I do. I do. But if you have a question, just let me know. Um, Let me see here. Icon between myself and Renee. I'm learning so much about cats. I'll get a cat if I ever get in a situation without allergic people. Well, hopefully, Icon, that'll happen soon. Um, Ray, yeah, you find them around the house and the soles of your foot. I had a couple. Yeah, they can be long, right? And here's the thing. As far as whiskers go, whisker length. Let me get my big old safe on here. My big old face. Whisker length is usually determined by the size of the cat. So bigger cat, you're going to get usually bigger whiskers. Maybe not like that big, right? Exaggeration. But the size of the cat usually determines the size of the whisker. So smaller cat, usually smaller whiskers, not always. Bigger cat, and I don't mean fat, but just a bigger cat, like body wise, usually you're going to have bigger whiskers. Kind of neat. All right. Um, okay. Nick, hyperallergenic cat breeds. I think this question was asked last time too. I think. I don't remember by whom, but Siberian cats. And the thing is, it's not the cat hair itself that causes the issues. It's the cat dander, or it's like the dog dander. So it's like the stuff like on the skin. So that can be a little tricky, Nick. Really, I mean, there are ways to, allergy pills for yourself, right? Allergy shots, but that takes a while. So really, I mean, Siberian. People think Sphinx cats, right? Because they don't have any hair, but they still have the dander. Um, uh, but Siberians, Siamese, that's a tough one. I mean, there's still going to be dander. So I mean, but with anything, there are other ways. If a person has allergies, to kind of mitigate that as much as possible. To be honest, my wife, she has allergies. It's not a crazy allergy, but she does have allergy. She is allergic to cats, but it's not like crazy. And hey, we got 9 cats, and she seems to be okay. So hopefully that answers your question, Nick. To the best of my ability, at least. All right, one thing here, because we are getting short on time. I just wanted to mention last week. And I think everybody knows these channels on the left. Great cat channels. Rascal and Lucy with Renee, Four Cats in a Mountain Shack with John, Alice and Pearl Jam with Raph, Unique Tranquil Unique Natural Experience with Tranquil and Miracle, Sydney Cat with Sydney Cat, Nixon Potato, and Michiko. I wanted to keep every week. I'm going to add to this list and just add some more cat channels. You may be aware of these cat channels, you may not. I don't have the links or anything, but if you want to write these cat channels down, if you're unfamiliar with them, then feel free to. But I think most people are going to be that's in this chat are familiar with these channels. But on the other side, on the left side here, um, we have AUKU official. This channel is out of Indonesia. They do a lot of good things with cats. They have a lot of kittens. Very good channel, nice channel. They just do a lot of stuff with cats out in Indonesia. We have Burrito the cat, who I think is still in here now. Maybe they're not. I'm not sure. But they have their kitty Burrito. I think Burrito is about 10 months old or so, from what I remember. A lot of this just off of memory. Just another good channel. Cat Friends. I think most of you probably know Cat Friends. I think Cat Friends has 6 cats, I want to say, but I'm not positive about that. But again, they have a lot of cute videos. Cat Penny. Oh, you're welcome, Burrito. Cat Penny, John, and I think John and Judy, or it might have been John and Tranquil. I can't remember. They kind of showed me this channel on one of the lives I was doing a while ago. Um, Obviously, there was Cat Penny themselves, and now there's Maggie. But Cat Penny, another good channel with Maggie, Mike. Um, good group, very good group of people. Um, some of you may not be familiar because it was Renee who showed me this channel, who had it in one of her, oh, whatchamacallit, she had it in one of her community posts, Cat Lady Natasha and the Mew Diaries. Excuse me. Another good channel. I think they have like 5 cats, 5 or 6 cats. They have a couple of cats, at least one cat that's having some issues, like some health issues. They also have a bye, Judy. Have a good night, Judy. Thank you for popping in. I do appreciate it, definitely. And until next time, take care until then. Um, what was I saying? A cat lady, Natasha. One of her kitties is what's called a tripod cat. Um, so the tripod cat, it's only got the 3 limbs, right? But they get along perfectly, and they get along great. Hello, Megan. Thank you for popping in, Megan. Kind of wrapping up here, Megan, but I appreciate you coming in. Going to be on for 5-10 minutes or so. And Megan, what I'm doing right now is just kind of going over some other cat channels and some other cat creators. And this list will grow each week. I'm just putting a few in each week, and then just kind of talking about them, kind of highlighting those other cat channels. So if you don't know them, I'm not going to tell you, hey, connect with them, because that's not my job. But maybe just check them out, and just go from there, kind of thing. Yeah, Little Sonic. I'm trying to remember all the names. Little Sonic. I can't think of the names right now. I'm sorry. Uh, Cats and Counseling. They have one kitty, to my knowledge. It's like an orange tabby. And gosh, what is that kitty's name? Burrito. You know that channel. It sounds like. So do you remember that kitty's name offhand? I'm trying to think of it. Oh shoot, what is that? Yeah, I'll come back to that. And Burrito, if you could help me out, if you remember that cat's name, if you could put it in the chat, I would be appreciated. Um, and then no, it's not Fluffy. Yeah, I don't remember either right now. It's an orange tabby though. I just can't think of their name right now. Oh, Rabbits. Yeah, I know it is Rabbits. The kitty's name is Rabbits. Orange tabby, Rabbit. They mostly do shorts. But again, it's another good cat channel. And then just to wrap up, as far as this list goes, obviously Cats for Nelson. I think everybody knows Cats for Nelson, or Luis. She's got her 5 kitties, right? She's got Beans, she's got Percy, Ralphie, Sadie, and Scarlet. I think that's 5. Uh, Not sure, but I think that's 5. Another really good supportive channel, always showing off her kitties. So those are some other cat channels. Like I said, this list will grow. And another thing with that email that I have pinned to the top, like I was saying, that's one of the emails that you all can contact me if you want to. You can contact me if you want to ask a question, if you think of a topic, if you need advice. You can also if you think like, hey, this is another good cat channel, can you check it out? And I will check it out, and maybe we can get it posted. Let me go back to here. We can get it posted on here, because like I said, I want to grow this. Yeah, then it's just my kitties, but you've seen all these kitties. I went through that last week, so I'm not going to do that again. um, But I want to keep on growing this list week by week, and just continue to grow this cat community, to have these topics. Eventually, if somebody else wants to, um, come on with me and discuss a topic, or just say, hey, blah blah blah, or maybe promote their channel, I'm perfectly good with that. Just let me know. Um, you can come on and we can talk, and we'll be good. Megan, I know I was talking to you earlier today about, oh gosh, Megan, what was the kitty's name? Was it Lulu? I know it was either Lulu or Lucy. I think it was Lulu though. About that medication, and about how she's doing. Which, like I said, I appreciated that conversation. That's something I always like to do, is just talk about your kitties and talk about how things are going. Lulu, okay, perfect. One thing is, you have a lot of these channels, and you start to kind of, I gotta write a list. I'm not good at writing lists, but I definitely need to start writing some lists and writing some names, so I don't kind of get things confused, because there can be a lot, right? Especially as this thing continues to kind of grow. Uh, but anyways, that's pretty much it. So I mean, I appreciate everybody's time, who came and visited, and had this conversation. I learned from y'all. Hopefully, you learned a little bit from me. Um, so thank you, John, Icon, Megan, Burrito, Raf, Renee, Bert. I don't know if Bert, if you're in here still or not, but thank you for popping by. Who else might be here still? Ray. I'm just kind of scrolling up in the chat, cheating. Um, I'm not sure who else is on here still, but whoever is on here still, I appreciate the time. I will we will do this again next Sunday, this time, this place. Crystal, thank you for hanging in here with me. Sydney Cat, hey Sydney Cat, appreciate you popping in, Sydney Cat. We're actually just about to end. If you want to watch the replay, you're more than welcome to, but totally up to you. Um, and I think I'm done. So we will see you next time. Again, use that email if you have any questions, if you have any topics you want to talk about. That's pinned to the top of this. If you have any channels that you want to shout out, or highlight, definitely do that, and we'll continue to do this. Eventually, I think. Oh, Tranquil, sorry, I missed you, Tranquil. Thank you for popping in too, Tranquil. I think eventually maybe we'll like get to like some news topics, because I was thinking, maybe I could put in, like, share my screen, and we can kind of like talk about different stuff that's going on maybe around the world with different cat stuff too. That's another thing, I think is pretty cool. Also, kind of like, hey, out in, I don't know, out in Egypt, this is what's going on right now. Or down in South America, there's something kind of neat going on with kitties, or in Japan, or anywhere. I just think that's something I might add on to this also. But again, I appreciate everybody that was here. Hopefully, you had some fun, you learned a little, and it was awesome sharing these last couple hours with you. And I wish everybody a good rest of your night. Oh, and if interested, I'm always like trying to plug somebody else. Rev, who I think most of you know, Rev, right? From Rev Rat Writes. He's doing like a series on mental health, right? And tonight's topic is on mental health and finances. So if interested, that's going to start, I think, in about an hour or so. If interested in something like that, then go ahead and pop in. And that's my plug for Rev, just another member of the MDS, the Modern Day Breakfast Club. But anyways, that's it. I appreciate all your time, and I will talk to you later. And hug a kitty. And if you have any questions or anything, just let me know. You are all welcome, Sydney Cat. You are welcome, and I'm gonna meow out, and I'll see you next time. Take care.